Hi pals! In today's video I'm going to go over how I annotate. It's slightly different depending on the type of book that I annotate in, so I thought I'd just do a video as I noticed annotation was coming up a lot in conversation recently, so I thought why not. So let's jump straight in. So the tools that I use for annotation are, I always have either a, what do you call this? Well, it's a pen.
The more you know.
But it's a special type of pen.
Or we have our pens.
Acid-free, non-toxic, pigmented ink, so it's waterproof basically. So yeah, so I use one of them. I've got this one, which is a Mavi Uchida, the brand, 0.3 size nib. I like this because it's fine enough to, if you've only got small margins on the side and you want to write something, it's small enough for that to, you know, to get in there. I also use the Micron pens, but at the moment I've only got the 0.5, which I find sometimes a little bit too chunky. I will pop in the description box all of these products, so that if you want to try any of them, you can. This one I got from a shop, some random shop somewhere, so I might not be able to link that one, but really any waterproof pen will work. Alternatively, if you don't want to use a pen, use a pencil. I've got this one. It's called a Metasil, so it's basically made out of metal, so it doesn't need sharpening ever, or at least so far. It's not worn down or anything, but you can rub it out like a normal pencil. So I find that it was a little bit more expensive than a normal pencil, but obviously it's going to last a long time. So so it, you know, obviously just a normal pencil works just as well. Other products I use are the different, I've got several different marker pens that I like. These ones are quite new to me, so I haven't used them a whole lot yet, so I can't really tell you if they're good on the paper yet, but they are pretty colours. I've done a swatch thing, which I'll do like a still shot of at the end for you to compare the different colours. This is a Leuchtturm, I don't think I said that correctly, Leuchtturm 1917. This is going to be my new book journal because I've been using this and it's just not big enough. I love this. I love these Hobonichi Weeks, and I really love this planner, but it's just too small for me. I just can't. Yeah, so they're new ones to me. They're quite chunky, but they're just like a normal, like highlight, what you'd expect a highlighter to look like. But they're quite, I don't think you're going to be able to tell on here, but they're quite thin on the end, which is nice. They were from Stationery Pal. And then I have the Mildliner brush pens, which these ones have like the brush end and the thin end. So you could just use this instead of a pencil or something if you wanted to. Great for highlight, underlining, or like circling words if that's how you like to annotate. And then I have these Kokoyu, try that again, Kokoyu Kokoyo, something like that. It's a Japanese brand. These are markers. They have normal highlighter end one end, and then they have a very, very fine end on the other. These are great as well, although I have found they run out quite quickly, but I do enjoy the quality of them, and so far I've not found that they've gone through any paper, which is nice, because sometimes I find the mild liners, especially when they're brand new, can go through, depending on the paper of the book, can go through at times. Then I have the other style of mild liner as well, where you have like the normal highlighter end, and again just the thin end. So you like, these are options. Like it just depends. Like if I'm off out to a coffee shop or something and I'm going to be annotating, I tend to just take one with the double end, so that I don't have to have so much stuff basically. But if I'm just at home, I have all the stuff right there and yeah, spoil myself. So yeah, so they're the several different styles of pen that I use, and then obviously the tabs. At the moment I'm using like several varieties, because I like to have different colours. I do like to try and match the colour to the cover of the book, or at least be complementary. Okay, sorry, I'm on sprints and I thought it was gonna come back all loud, but I haven't. I remembered to mute the tab for a change. Yeah, so there are several different kinds. At the moment I've only really bought them from Amazon, which I'm trying not to buy too much from Amazon, honestly, but I don't know where else to get them where they're not crazy money. I do quite like these ones, because they have like the little dispenser with them, but you don't get a lot in them. So if you annotate a lot in a book, then you'll run out of a colour quite quickly. Whereas if you're more someone that just tabs one colour for everything, then you'll be fine, because you can just go through the colour palette. And then I've got these ones which are quite handy because they've got like a ruler on. I'm not sure what you would need a ruler for with annotation, but it's quite nice if you like very precise lines. If you underline, then you could just use it as just a normal ruler rather than a measuring tool. And then these ones are probably my favourite ones because they come on a card backing, which means when you're finished you can recycle them. Whereas depending on your area, my area, you can't recycle these. So yeah, so these are good for that. I'm so sorry about Daisy snoring in the background. She's actually, I got a new like Udi kind of thing for Mother's Day, and it's got Pokemon all over it, and it's really cute. It's actually an Udi, is it? Ooh, fancy.
I'm be fancy.
Okay, it's an Udi. And Daisy's decided she's pulled it down onto the floor, and now she's using it as a bed because, of course, why wouldn't she?
That's mine. So?
Yeah, so okay, so they're the tabs that I use. If you annotate already and you've found some really good tabs somewhere, feel free to let me know in the comments below, because I am still trying to find the tabs that I like to use. I've got like these examples of books that I've annotated before. It really just depends on why I'm annotating. Sometimes I rarely ever annotate a book the first time I've read it, because the first time I read, I tend to just go with the flow and get caught up in the story, and I don't want to take myself out in order to stop and underline and whatnot. But occasionally a book will instantly make me want to annotate. So Faybound, within like the first couple of pages, I thought I'm going to want to annotate this straight away. With this one, I only needed 5 colours. How I do it, how I decide how many colours I need, or different tabs, is I'll basically, I won't know until I've probably hit about the halfway point, because I'll just, as I go along, I'll look at what I'm highlighting, and then I'll go back over and think, okay, what have all these things got in common with each other? And that's how I decide. So I don't pre-think, okay, there's going to be world building, so world building that I'll want to pay attention to. There's going to be, I don't know, like this one I've ended up with a tab for magic and world, so anything magic and world related that I wanted to highlight. Then I got quotes, pros and reactions, gender, sexuality and relationships, war, key moments and prophecies. The only one there that no, there's actually 2 that I probably have in every book that I've annotated, and that's key moments and quotes. And yeah, occasionally I'll annotate a book and I'll literally just do the quotes, so I'll just have like the one colour all the way through. And then we've got Station 11 is another one that you can see I've highlighted a lot in. This one was definitely a reread for me. I'd read it and watched the TV adaptation, and then I came back to reread. So by the point of rereading, I knew the story quite well. So this one I started off, I started off with 4, 5. No, hang on, that can't be right. Why are they separate? Oh, I know why, because I left space for other ones. Okay, so I started off with key moments and quotes. I added characters to key moments and connecting threads. And then I had a tab each for Kirsten, Jeevan and Clark, because they were the 3 characters that really stood out a lot to me, that I wanted to really sort of focus on. So you can see with this one, it was more of a character study, because the storyline, although it is quite plot heavy, I would say the thing that made me want to annotate was the characters. I am a bit of a sucker for characters that I can really invest in emotionally. Okay, so here we've got a non-fiction. I've got a couple of non-fiction because I wanted to show, like this one I haven't finished yet, because this one I'm just reading with my eyeballs. So it's very slow going for me with being dyslexic. And although actually I could just get the Kindle version and use Speechify. Is there a Kindle version is the question. I will have to, that's a little note for myself to do later. But yeah, so this one I've been using a pencil for underlining. And then the sections I've got for this one is studies, books and other sources. So to me, with non-fiction, it's important that the author, especially if they're not a professional in that, well, actually, even if they're a professional in that field, it's important that they back up what they're saying with research and how they arrived at that opinion. I need to be convinced of something before I can really settle on what I think, and I think that's probably the same for everyone. So yeah, so when I do annotate in a non-fiction, I nearly always have a tab section for studies or anything that backs up the argument. And this one, as you can see, I ran out of a colour, so I had to go with the next nearest colour. And the same with this one, I went from pink to yellow. And then I've got, so this one's Body Happy Kids, How to Help Children and Teens Love the Skin They're In. This got my attention because, I mean, it doesn't really matter. You're not asking me for that information. So let's move over that.
Nobody cares.
But obviously there's a section for diet culture and systemic problems. Body image and history, behaviours and cycles, ideas, constructs, questions. I've put them all together just because I didn't have enough colours. And also I think sometimes the more colours you have, the more overwhelmed you are when you go back over and look at your annotations. I'm not someone that remembers what colour means which topic. So I do have to flip back and forward all the time. So yeah, so it's important for me to have a key at the beginning. Some people just know, have got good enough memories for it. Mine does not work like that. So yeah, so that's that one. And then this one was another one. Partly because it's so floppy, and who doesn't love a floppy book? Sorry, I've just...
Hey everyone, welcome back to my ASMR show.
I've just thingied the book again right next to the mic.
That's assault, brother.
This is an example of one where I've just used one tab colour. And you'll see on this one I've got just one sticking out the top.
But why?
This one I don't have separate sections. This I tabbed on the first time of reading. So this was a book that I knew that I would be going back to time and time again. So I've just picked one colour, and then the next time I read it, I'll pick another colour and use that. Just because that's what I like to do. That's the way I like to do it with books like this. This is a book that I will use to refresh my memory if I'm struggling at all with my eating, if I just feel like I need a refresher on the sort of like the things that have helped me have a better relationship with food, etc. Yeah, I tend to go back to books like this. It's the same with this sort of book. I tend to go back to, because it's not just about learning something the first time, it's about maintaining that and remembering why you feel a certain way. I think because for me, I mean, this goes back to a video I did a few weeks ago, which I know made quite a few people feel uncomfortable, but it was just me speaking my truth. And I think it's very easy when you have an opinion that maybe, I mean, there's obviously other people that have similar or the same opinions to me, because there wouldn't be books about it if there wasn't. But I think it's important to be able to go back to the professionals and understand why you feel the way you feel, because I think as just a layman, yes, I've done a lot of research, but I don't remember everything that I've read, or and I think oftentimes if you go back over things, you process things slightly differently. I've gone off on a tangent again, but yeah. Let's move on. Okay, let's get to my favourite book of all time. This one, as you can see, has got a lot of tabs, top and bottom, not top and bottom, top and side. I have read this multiple times. That's why there's so many tabs. In fact, I've started reading it again and left a bookmark in there. This one is, I feel, very different in that because it's a favourite book. I go back and I have like little flashcards. Yeah. So I have like these started about, like this one at the beginning is just like the characters and the like key like items that are of importance in this book. The first time I read it, I missed all of that. Like I didn't really, I just like the first time I read it, what swept me through it was the vibes, and that's it. I didn't understand what was going on, nothing. Which sounds mad, I know. But then like the second time I read it, I started thinking, oh, actually, I know who that one is, and I need to like remember who that person is and who they are to that person, and how they're going to turn up later in the book and things like that. So with the annotation sections for this, I started off only with a couple, but then as I've annotated, gone back and annotated again, I've added more on. So yeah, I mean, I think I probably ran out of colours again, but oh no, actually I've got the grey palette now that I could switch to if I needed to. It's fine. But then the top ones are the special scenes and stories. So there's whole sections that I wanted. Basically, there's stories within the story, and I know not everyone likes that, but I love that about this book. I don't know if I would like that about every book, but with this book it worked really well for me. Sorry, Matt, I've just whacked the microphone again.
How dare you!
Okay, so I've got all these sections. The top one is the actual section of the mini stories, whatever that I particularly liked. I clearly liked quite a few of them. And then I've got important representation, and representation covers sort of humanity, friendship, sexuality and mental health. So you can like have like a section and then find as you go along that it encompasses sort of sub topics. I don't know how else to say that. And I find that quite useful as well, because sometimes you just end up going down a bit of a rabbit hole depending on the story itself. I've got favourite, funny and quotes together, and then I've got world, and then together I've got sad, dislike or poignant, and then I've got relationships separately. So that encompasses all relationships, not just romantic ones. And then I've got questions and dictionary. This book, I found there were quite a lot of words that I didn't understand, and I like to mark them so that I can go back and check the dictionary and understand a little bit better. And then finally I've got characters. So yeah, God knows what I'll add to that the next time I read it. So that's them. I think I've gone through everything that I wanted to talk about when it comes to annotation. If you do have any questions, obviously feel free to ask. I'm not the only one who annotates, and everyone has their own style. But I hope you can, the main thing that I hope you can see from looking at the way I annotate is that there is no set way, and you can literally make it how you want to make it. You can use it to remember things that you want to remember. You can use it to enhance your studying techniques. You can use it just to enjoy a story in a different way. Like I sometimes go through this and just read the annotated bits, and that in itself is quite special to do, especially with a comfort read like this one for me. Everyone has a comfort read. Yeah, so hopefully that was useful. I've already said ask any questions you want to ask, haven't I? I think so. Yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. If you have any recommendations for any different ways to annotate, or products that you use to annotate with, feel free to comment that, and let me know what your comfort read is. If you don't want to let me know that, then maybe just drop what emoji shall we have? I like doing that. It's fun when someone says leave an emoji in the comments. So let's have a pen emoji, or like the pencil emoji, whatever the closest emoji you have to a pen. And drop that in the comments for me below. And that's this week's video. Thanks a lot, guys. Take care. Did I get carried away with my makeup? Maybe. But if you watch my next video, you'll find out why.